So we'll go ahead and get started. Today we're going to start standing. So if everybody can make their way to a standing position, if that feels comfortable. If you'd really rather stay sitting, that's okay too. Maybe you can jump in on some of the upper body things that we do. I offer yoga. I always like to emphasize listening to what your body is asking for today. So if today is a rest day for you, then that will be just fine. You can sit on your mat and join us whenever you feel like you want to, okay? So we're going to take our first pose today, and it's kind of on theme for our Earth Day. It's mountain pose. So we begin grounding into our feet, and that just means starting to feel the place where our feet meet the earth. And you can kind of play with the weight distribution in your feet, maybe swaying side to side a little bit. And just see what it feels like to balance on your feet. We don't often think about standing as balancing, but it really is. So as you find that nice, stable place on your feet, we're going to tune into the rest of our body. Just think about having your knees over your ankles, your hips over your knees, shoulders over the hips. Check in with your spine, just standing up nice and tall, like maybe there's a string at the top of your head pulling you up. And you can keep your hands relaxed here. If you'd like this pose to be a little bit more active, you can turn the palms out. And you can even close your eyes here if you'd like to go a little bit more inward in this pose. We're just going to start by taking 5 deep breaths here. Noticing what it feels like to stand up nice and tall. Focusing our energy from our feet all the way to the top of our head. Noticing what it feels like to breathe deeply. Excellent. Let's take one more breath here. And if you close your eyes, you can blink them open now. Excellent. This is one of my favorite poses to introduce to anyone who's never tried yoga because it's such a subtle pose. It's something that we do every day. We stand up, right, for the most part, most people. And it's the sort of pose that you can use in everyday life without anybody knowing that you're really doing yoga. And it's a great way to shift energy. If you're in a difficult conversation, or if you feel that your energy is a little bit low, you can always call on this very powerful pose, shift your energy, ground into your feet, and it really just changes the way that your energy is being used in your body. So I like to offer that as much as I can when I'm teaching yoga. So now we're going to take a little bit of movement. We're just going to inhale, take the arms up. Take a nice big stretch. You might reach one hand higher than the other. And switch. Just gently reach back and forth. Nice. Can you relax the arms down? We're going to wake up the shoulders a little bit. We're going to do some big arm circles. So pick a direction, forward or back. Go ahead and start taking some big arm circles. See what it feels like to move your arms like this. And use your shoulders with this range of motion. Let's do one more this way and then we'll switch directions. Whichever way you are going, just switch. Nice. We'll do one more this way. And then relax the hands down. Let's just take a little bit of movement. Maybe you want to shake it out a little bit. Maybe you want to do some trunk twists. Anything that would feel good. I like to alternate between a lot of movement and a lot of stillness when we're doing yoga, just to kind of get that balance. So anytime we're doing something today and you feel like you want to move or you feel like you want to adjust, please feel free, empower yourself to do that. Take whatever movement your body is asking for. So we're gonna take another little stretch up here. So come back into your mountain pose feet, nice and sturdy and strong. We're gonna inhale, take the arms up again. This time we're gonna clasp the hands together overhead. We're gonna leave our pointer fingers out, and then we're just gonna take a little side stretch. Excellent. Inhale, come back to center. We're gonna lift in the center, and then take it on the other side. Let's just do that a few times, back and forth. You can spend as much time each way as feels good in your body, lifting through the center each time. We'll do one more each way. Excellent, and then come back to center, reach up, and relax the arms down. You can take a little bit of movement here if that would feel good. Shake your legs out maybe, shake your feet out. Awesome. And while we're standing, I'm gonna borrow an idea from my friend teacher here. We're gonna practice some balance today. And since it's Earth Day, I think it would be a great idea to practice our tree pose. So in yoga, we have a pose called tree pose, and you'll see why in just a second. So back to our mountain pose, we always want to start balance practice in a nice sturdy stance. So just tune into your feet here, find that really nice and balanced position, standing up nice and tall. You can take your hands to your hips here, that can be helpful for balance, and also finding one place to kind of focus your gaze on is also very helpful. So once you pick your spot that you know you want to look at, we're going to start to shift our weight to one side. So choose whichever side, and the opposite side, we're going to start to come onto the ball of that foot. Then we're going to turn that leg out. So we're balancing all our weight on that opposite foot. And we're going to start to float that foot and place it somewhere along that standing leg. So you can keep your toes on the floor right here and work on maybe lightly lifting that toe, playing with your balance. You can bring that foot to your calf here. You could also take it a little bit higher up, just above the knee, if that would feel good. And just play with that for a few breaths. So we might stay right here today, and that might be the best place to practice our balance. Once you feel nice and stable wherever you've chosen to be, you can take the arms up or out to kind of help with that balance. This is why we call it tree, as you can see. So we'll stay here for 3 more breaths. Feeling free to adjust and move any way you need to. Awesome job, guys. 1 more breath here. And then we'll let our arms down. We'll shake out our body a little bit. That's a lot of stillness and focus it takes to work on balance. Good work. So then we're going to come back and do the other side. So beginning with our mountain pose, nice and stable and sturdy. Now make sure you switch sides this time. So shift your weight to the opposite side now. Don't forget to turn that leg out. And then you might stay right here, just bringing your heel to your ankle, keeping the toes on the floor. That's a great way to start. Then you can kind of play with maybe lifting that foot, setting it down, maybe placing it on the calf. And for balance, anywhere that's helpful, you can take the arms. Sometimes it's putting them at your heart, maybe on your hips, or maybe just out there helping you balance. So we'll stay here for a few more breaths. Beautiful trees, good work. 1 more breath here. And as you're ready, let your arms down, let your leg come down, take some movement. Good work, friends. I see all those beautiful trees. Take some movement here. Excellent. So next we're going to practice a few more poses. First we're going to start with a forward fold. So I'm going to turn sideways just so you can see me a little bit better, and you guys can adjust so that you can still see me but have enough room to do what we need to do. So we'll start in our mountain pose. Again, standing up nice and tall. We're gonna inhale, take our arms up. We're gonna exhale, fold forward like you're reaching for the floor or reaching for your toes. You can always keep a softness or a bend in your knees. You might like to grab onto your elbows here. You can let your head hang heavy. Relax it down if that would feel good. You can even gently shake it out here. Sometimes we call this ragdoll pose because we're just kind of hanging out, so feel free to let your arms dangle. You could even do some swaying side to side. Let your fingers trace the floor. Good work. This is an excellent pose for when we've spent a lot of time sitting in a chair or sitting at a desk. Let's take one more breath here, making sure you're still breathing while we're folded over. Then nice and slow, we're gonna rise to standing. Let's take our arms up, take a big stretch. Awesome, we can bring them down the body. Good work. We're gonna do that a couple more times, just to get our hips nice and flexy today. Get a nice good stretch. So as you're ready, come back into your mountain pose. We're gonna inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Take a nice breath out. And wherever you want to put your legs, you might like to rest your legs on the top of your thighs. That can feel really nice and comfortable. You could bring your hands to the back of your legs or the back of your thighs. Lots of options here. You can let them dangle or grab onto the elbows. Check in with your breathing here, making sure you're getting those deep breaths still. One more breath here. Good work. Next, we're gonna take a half lift. So we're gonna lift up, but just about halfway to where your spine is sort of straight. Right about here, you can bring your hands to your thighs or hands to your calves. Good. And then exhale, let it go. We're gonna take our forward fold again. Good, one more breath here. And then nice and slow, we're gonna roll to standing. Take the arms up, take a big stretch. Nice. If you ever get a little dizzy coming up from sitting or standing or folding, it's good to just take your gaze down. That can help you kind of stabilize and feel a little more balanced. Good work. Okay, next we're gonna come down onto the mat. We're gonna find a tabletop position. I think we did this last week. So hands and knees. So we want our fingers nice and wide, right underneath our shoulders. We want a comfortable distance between our knees and our hands, and then each knee. And then we want to find a place where our spine is neutral. So sort of how we just did the half lift, where our spine is not rounded and it's not arched, it's just neutral. So see if you can find that spot in your body. Then we're gonna play with our spine a little bit, start to work it. So first, we're gonna do our cat pose. You guys might remember this. This is where we arch the back, round it, take the gaze down, and then we're gonna reverse that. We're gonna arch the back, take the gaze up. Good, this is our cow pose. And then reverse it. We're gonna tuck the tailbone, round the back, take your gaze down, kind of like an angry cat. And then we're just gonna flow those back and forth so you can follow your own breath, switching whenever you're ready. Back and forth. Let's do 2 more each way. You might like to spend some more time in one or the other, and that's just fine. Excellent. We're going to come back to that neutral spine position where our back is sort of straight. We're going to do a little shoulder stretch now. So from our tabletop, we're going to take one arm out to the side, and then we're going to thread it through the other, bring the body down towards the mat. So you might rest your head on the mat, or you might keep it floating a little bit. We're going to keep our hips up here. Check in with your breath, making sure you're still breathing. Deep breaths. Awesome. One more breath here. And then nice and slow, use that palm that's on the mat to press yourself up. You're going to take that arm back out to the side and then bring it back to our tabletop. Then we're going to take that on the other side. So extend the opposite arm this time. Excellent. Then we're going to thread it through the other, bringing our upper body down towards the mat. Maybe you rest your head on the mat. Maybe you use your forearm for support. Taking a few breaths here. One more breath on this side. And then as you're ready, use that palm that's on the floor to press yourself up. We'll take that arm we just did back out to the side and bring it back to our tabletop. Nice. So from here, we're going to take a child's pose. So from right where we are in our tabletop, we're going to bring our toes together behind us. We're going to take our knees apart as much as feels comfortable, and you can play with that distance. And we're going to sink our hips back and then gently bring our upper body down. So you could stay here right on your forearms. You might want to come down a little further. You could rest your head on the mat if that would feel good. You could even stack your fists here and bring your head to your fists. We're just going to hang out here for a few breaths. This is a really nice, gentle, relaxing pose. Again, just checking in with your breath, making sure you're not holding, getting in some deep breaths still. Awesome. Let's take 3 more breaths here in our child's pose. Excellent. One more deep breath here. And as you're ready, you can bring your palms out in front of you if they're not already there. And then we're just going to gently press ourselves up and back. We're going to sit back on the heels if that feels okay in your body. If it's really tough on your knees, you could just take a seated position. But you can leave the space between your knees, or you can kind of adjust, bring the knees together if that would feel better, and just sit back on the ankles. Nice. This is called ankle stretch. We're just going to take a few breaths here. Noticing if your breath has changed maybe since we've gotten a little bit of movement in. Maybe your breaths are deeper, maybe they're a little more shallow. That's just a mindfulness practice, paying attention to how our breath feels in our body. Nice, so we'll stay in our seated ankle stretch if that feels okay for you. Then we're gonna do some upper body stretches. So from here, we're gonna take the arms up. You can take your gaze up, look up at the ceiling. Nice, then we're gonna drop one hand down towards the floor, and then we're gonna kind of lean over to that side, stretching the sides of our body. Good work. One more breath on this side. Inhale, come back to center, reach both arms up, take your gaze up. Exhale, take that opposite arm down. Stretch over to that side. This side may feel a little bit different. Just observing how all these movements feel in our body. Excellent. Inhale, come back to center. We're going to do one more on each side. So as you're ready, take it back to that first side. One more breath here. Inhale back to center, reaching both arms up. Exhale, take it on the other side. Very good. Let's come back to center, reach both arms up one more time. And exhale, let them go. Nice. You might start to feel some tingling in your toes since we've been sitting on our ankles. So let's go ahead and just make our way to a seated position. From here, we're going to take our legs out long. Nice. We're going to wake up our feet a little bit, just pointing and flexing back and forth. You can take your arms out to your sides or maybe slightly behind you. And just play with your feet a little bit, wiggling your toes, pointing and flexing the whole foot. Good. Point one and flex one, back and forth a few times. Good. Our feet work so hard all the time and we very rarely pay them attention. So I always like to take a few breaths, giving our feet some love. Good work, friends. So from here, you can just relax your feet however you'd like to leave them. We're going to take a little shoulder stretch. So I want to say that this is really easy to overdo, so let's take it nice and slow. Right where our hands are, kind of behind us, supporting, we're just going to slowly, a little bit at a time, start to walk them back till we feel our shoulder blades get closer to each other. So just to that place where they feel a little bit stretched, but not a painful place. We never want yoga to be painful. So from here, you might like to take your gaze up towards the ceiling, or you could just keep your head neutral. Let's take 2 more breaths here, working on our shoulders. Awesome. And then nice and slow, we'll just walk them back in. Good. You can shake out your arms a little bit, maybe move your legs a bit, like windshield wipers. Anything that would feel good. Nice. So we practiced our standing forward fold. Now we're going to work on our seated forward fold. So it's very nearly the same thing, only now we're sitting. So see if you can find that nice, tall spine sitting position. We're going to inhale, take our arms up. And exhale, fold forward towards your toes. You can let your hands land wherever they land on your legs. You can keep your gaze neutral, or you can relax your head and neck down if that would feel good. Check in with your breathing here. Sometimes we hold our breath when we're folded, so just make sure you're not holding your breath. You're still getting in those good belly breaths. Excellent. One more breath here. And then nice and slow, you can roll out of your fold. Good job. Let's bring our hands alongside us again. We're going to bend our knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the mat. And then we're just going to gently drop the knees side to side. Nice and gently, just as far as they go naturally. Good. Let's do 2 more each way. And then we'll bring the knees back to center. Let's take our legs long. And then we're just gonna make our way to a lying down position. So nice and slow, however you wanna get there. You might like to do some tuck and rolls, a few back and forth. But we're making our way to a laying down position. Nice and gentle. From here, we're gonna point our toes. We're gonna take our arms up overhead and just stretch long in both directions. Imagine making yourself as long as possible. Good work, friends. Now you can relax your hands down at your sides. Or if it feels good to have them up over your head, you can leave them there too. And again, we're going to take the soles of our feet to the mat, bending our knees. Good. And from here, we're going to do that same thing we just did. Gently letting them fall side to side. Bringing them back to center, let them fall to the other side. Good. Excellent. Let's do one more each way. Nice. And we're going to keep our knees bent, come back to center. We're going to lift one leg and cross it over that ankle to the opposite knee. So we just have our leg crossed. We want to kind of drop that knee that's bent away from the body, just letting that hip open up. Good. So from here, we're going to take a low body twist. So we're going to leave that ankle crossed. And the best way to describe this is whichever direction your foot is pointed, we're just going to take that foot down towards the floor. So it doesn't have to go all the way to the floor, just as far as it feels like you're getting a stretch. Nice. Let's take one more breath here. Inhale, come back to center, untwist. We're going to uncross that leg. Might feel nice to take both legs long, or maybe come back and do those bent windshield wiper knees. Good job. We're going to take that on the other side, so we'll come back to both knees bent, and we're going to cross that opposite ankle now. Dropping that top knee kind of away from the body, feeling the stretch in the thigh and the hip. Take a couple breaths here. And as you're ready, we're going to take that low body twist. So letting your foot drop towards the floor, whichever way it's pointed, just as far as your body lets you go. You don't need to force it down to the floor. Excellent. Let's take one more breath here. Now we'll inhale, come back to center. You can uncross that leg, take the legs long, or take some windshield wipers with your knees, whatever would feel good. You can take a big stretch overhead again. Nice. Let's bring the soles of the feet back to the mat, both knees bent. And then nice and gentle, just choose one knee to draw in towards your body or your chest. You could grab your hands behind the thigh or on top of the knee just to hold it there, or gently press it in towards the body. Nice, and then we'll switch sides. Take the other knee into the chest. Good. And if both sides felt okay, maybe you take both knees in. Gently hold them there. From here, you could rock side to side. Get a little back massage here. Excellent. As you're ready, you can bring your feet down, take the legs long, and then just find a comfortable spot for your hands. Fully reclined, laying down, resting. You could even close your eyes if that would feel nice. We're just going to take a few breaths right here, finding some stillness, letting our body relax after all that movement. See if you can start to relax all parts of your body. Think about relaxing your feet, relaxing your ankles, relaxing your knees, letting your hips be heavy, letting your ribs be heavy, softening the shoulders, even relaxing the head, maybe gently closing the eyes if they weren't already closed. And we'll stay here for a few breaths. Nice, let's take one more deep breath here. See if you can fill your whole belly with air. And breathe out. Let all that air out. Excellent. You can blink your eyes open if they were closed. You can start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Start to take little movements. You might like to take a nice big arms overhead stretch again. Nice and just gently waking up the body. Then as you're ready, we're going to come onto one side and sort of curl up for a second. You can use your arm as a pillow here. Good, and just take a few breaths. Maybe you want to thank your body for being healthy. Thank your mind for being strong. Thank yourself for showing up to do yoga today. You guys did fantastic. Nice and slow, that hand that's on the floor, you can just gently press yourself up. Nice and slow. Don't have to move too fast. We'll just come back to an easy seated position. Excellent. You guys did so great today. Thank you again for joining me. I hope you have a great Earth Day and a great rest of your week. And hopefully we'll be able to see you again next week.